everyone! It's a brand new day and a brand new chance to learn. I'm Sir John J. Sahudo, your English teacher, and I welcome you all to our Grammar Essential class. For today's video, we're going to talk about a sentence and the different types of sentences according to structure. But before we proceed, let us first decipher our learning objectives.
Upon the completion of this lesson, everyone will be able to define a sentence and its main parts, identify the different types of sentences according to structure, and rationalize sentences by identifying their structures.
Those are our learning objectives. I hope we're going to achieve all of them by the end of this session. To begin our lesson, let us first define a sentence. A sentence is a group of words. It expresses a complete thought, starts with a capital letter, and ends with a proper end mark, such as period, question mark, or an exclamation point. For example, Samantha walks gracefully. That is an example of a sentence because it starts with a capital letter and ends with a proper end mark, which is a period. Now, you also need to remember that the sentence has two main parts. These are the subject, the one being talked about in the sentence, or the doer of the action, and the predicate, which tells something about the subject, and it starts with the verb of the sentence and its modifier, and the other words that complete the predicate part. Let us identify the two main parts of the given sentence. Samantha is the one who does the action, so she is our subject. And the words that tell something about Samantha is our predicate. And these are the words walks, which is our action word, and gracefully, which is the modifier of the verb walks. So walks gracefully is our predicate. Alright, we have just accomplished our first objective, which is to define a sentence and identify its main parts. So let us now proceed to a more complex understanding of sentences, and these are the different types of sentences according to structure.
The first type of sentence according to structure is the simple sentence. A simple sentence is a sentence that consists of one independent clause. An independent clause, on the other hand, is a group of words that has a subject and a verb and expresses a complete thought, meaning to say it can stand alone. For example, Abina laughs. This is obviously a simple sentence since it consists of a subject, who is Abina, and a verb, which is laughs. The same rationalization is applied if you add more words to the sentence. For instance, Abina laughs loudly at Nam's jokes. Though the sentence contains addendum of the adverb loudly and the noun phrase Nam's jokes, it does not affect the structure of the sentence. Now let's make it more complicated. Abina and Samantha laugh loudly at Nam's funny jokes. I added another subject joined by coordinating conjunction and to mean that whether the subject is compound, still it belongs to simple sentence. Let's not settle for this one. Instead, let's make it more difficult by adding another verb in the sentence. Abina and Samantha laugh loudly and sometimes cry at Nam's funny jokes. The inclusion of another verb in the sentence does not affect the type of structure that this sentence belongs to. So, in conclusion, whether the subject is simple or compound, or the verb is simple or compound, what matters the most is that this compound predicate is done by only one compound subject, and that is going to guarantee us that this group of words is a simple sentence. I hope everything is clear about the simple sentence. So let's proceed to the next type of sentence according to structure, and that is the compound sentence. A compound sentence has at least two independent clauses, meaning to say, this consists of two groups of words that can stand alone and have related ideas. These independent clauses can be joined by a coordinating conjunction, such as the fan voice, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, or even by a semicolon. In either case, each half of the sentence must be able to stand on its own as a complete sentence. That means each half needs a subject and a verb. For example, I want the sporty red car, but I will lease the practical blue one. In the sentence above, the subjects are italicized and the verbs are in bold. The first half is a complete sentence because it contains the subject I and the verb want, and it can stand alone. The second half that comes after the comma and the coordinating conjunction but is also a complete sentence with the subject I and the verb release. So that would only mean that these independent clauses must have different subjects and different verbs. One thing that you need to remember about punctuation rules: make sure that you put a comma before the coordinating conjunction for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so when you join two independent clauses. So that would only mean that when you see a comma before a coordinating conjunction and then there are two independent clauses, it vouches us that that sentence is a compound sentence. The same rule is applied if you're going to use a semicolon in place of a coordinating conjunction. For example, Joe made the sugar cookies. Susan decorated them. In this sentence, instead of using a coordinating conjunction, you may actually use a semicolon. Its presence in the sentence does not affect the number of subjects and the number of verbs. Just like a coordinating conjunction, a semicolon also connects two independent clauses. And that's the end of our discussion for compound sentence. Let us now proceed to the complex sentence. A complex sentence is a sentence that contains an independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. As we know, an independent clause can stand alone as a sentence, but a dependent clause, even though it has a subject and a verb, cannot stand alone. To better elucidate these two clauses, let us take this example. The online examination was cancelled because there was no internet connection. Obviously, the independent clause in the sentence is the online examination was cancelled. This group of words can stand alone as a sentence even without the presence of the subordinate clause because there was no internet connection. Since aside from it has a subject and a verb, it also expresses a complete thought. In contrary to independent clause, because there was no internet connection is our dependent clause. Though it contains a subject and a verb, it does not express complete thought. Let's try to omit the independent clause and retain the dependent clause of the sentence. Does the clause "because there was no internet connection" express complete thought? How about the effect of the absence of the internet connection? Can we find it from this group of words? Definitely, it does not express a complete thought, neither we can find the effect of the clause. Now, if you find it difficult to locate a dependent clause in a sentence, you need to familiarize yourselves with the possible clues that signal the presence of a dependent clause. These are the subordinating conjunctions that link a dependent clause to an independent clause. such as although, as if, as long as much as soon as, after, because, before, even, if, even though, in order that, now that, once, since, though, till, unless, until, when, whenever, where, wherever, while, or even the relative pronouns like who, whom, whose, that, or which. Let's have another example of a complex sentence using a relative pronoun. We visited the place that was destroyed by the recent typhoon. Just like what I mentioned earlier, look for some clues that enable you to annotate the dependent clause in the sentence. In this case, the relative pronoun that is our clue. So, the dependent clause in the sentence is that was destroyed by the recent typhoon. And our independent clause is we visited the place. Let's have another example. Students who lack self-awareness of their study behaviors are more likely to suffer from procrastination habits. Can you identify the dependent clause in the sentence? What is your clue? What is the independent clause in the sentence? If your clue is the relative pronoun who, your dependent clause is who lacks self-awareness of their study behaviors, and your independent clause is students are more likely to suffer from procrastination habits, you are more likely to get the answers accurately.
Alright, so that's the end of our lesson about the complex sentence. On my next video, we're going to talk about the compound complex sentence, which is the fusion of compound sentence and complex sentence. Before we're going to end our session, let us have first a 4-item sentence structure rationalization. And we'll begin with
identify the structures of the following sentences. Write S if the sentence is a simple sentence. Write C if it is a compound sentence. And write CX if it is a complex sentence. Good luck, everyone! The first sentence is, I like hot chocolate. It sends me to sleep. This is a compound sentence because it contains two independent clauses joined by a semicolon. Number 2. Mark and Maria could not believe their names appeared on the honors list. This is a simple sentence because it contains only one independent clause. Number 3. Terrence feels happy, but Brandon is sad, so their parents are confused. This is a compound sentence as it consists of multiple independent clauses. These are Terrence feels happy, Brandon is sad, and their parents are confused. All of these independent clauses are linked together by coordinating conjunctions but and so. The last but definitely not the least. Maisie was not going to reveal her secret unless she had to. This is a complex sentence because it contains an independent clause and a dependent clause. Besides, that dependent clause starts with a subordinating conjunction unless.
Congratulations! I hope you're able to get all of the answers correctly. And that's it for today, everyone. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you learned so many things for today about the sentence and the different types of sentences according to structure. Before anything else, please don't forget to like, share, and click the notification bell for you to be updated on my next video. Once again, this is Sir John J. Cejudo saying every day is a brand new day to learn. Goodbye!